Hello, and welcome to Entrepremommies. I am Tiffy T, the Resellqueen, and we are patiently waiting on our co-host Nicole Flamer to come on back.
Hello. Get a little thing for the little
So
watch.
she's back.
How you doing, everyone? Hello.
So how was your week, Nikki?
My week. Okay, let's see. Where's my week? My week was pretty good. Last week was probably like the first week where I wasn't like really running around a lot doing stuff. So I got a chance to kind of do some brainstorming and some thinking about the future, and like it felt really good. Like I was really relaxed last week. And I think
Good.
it's important to take time to reflect on the things that you've done, especially since it's the end of the year, and the things that you want to do. So I came up with a couple of new ideas that I'll be sharing in the future. But but yeah, like that was very pensive week last week where I kind of really, just thought about what's the next step. What's the next step for the kids? What's the next step for the business? What's the next step for me personally? So it was a good week. Business was business. Like, sales are, as it's funny, as it gets closer to Christmas and the shipping times get longer, then my sales start to dip. So like my biggest rush is November to probably about, like, this will probably be like my last week where I'll have holiday sales, and then after that they'll dip a little bit because they won't get there before Christmas. The products won't get there before Christmas. So
I see.
so this I'm going into my, like, what I call my winter slump. And usually what happens is from now until about mid-January things get slow, and then with perfumes and stuff it'll bounce back up for Valentine's Day.
Right.
But so right now, that's where I'm at sales wise. But it's okay. It was a good year. I had a good year overall. So I'm ending the year pretty positive
That's
and
good.
happy with how things went this year for me. I haven't done my final wrap up, but I'm about to start, like, looking at my sales and like how much better I did over last year. And what I'm starting, I do inventory at the end of the year as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's I probably won't start that until maybe like next week, because when it's over the holiday time, I won't want to focus on business stuff.
I'm with you.
So yeah, so I'll start trying to do my inventory like next week before the kids are home, and everybody's looking under the Christmas tree. So yeah, so,
Want to know where's my stuff?
right, yes, yes.
Well, you and I kind of are on the same path. Like I am more my week this week was a little less hectic than it's been.
Mm-hmm.
My sales right now for my resale business, I am still selling heavily in the cosmetics and health and beauty products.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding I ordered probably around September, October, a lot of like different things that you could get for gifts
Okay.
and like little gift packs and things like that. So I've ordered those, and I did not plan efficiently enough because I sold out within
Oh
like 2
wow,
weeks.
that's a
So,
good problem to
which
have.
is a good thing, but it makes me mad
Yeah.
because I'm like, well, dang, I should have planned better,
Right.
because I could
I
have made
hear you.
more money. But I I have taken an approach for this whole year. Of when it comes to inventory, I'm not playing a guessing game. I'm
I
going with
like
what
it.
I know works,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's boring and it only makes $5. I prefer that because it's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, I was ordering everything and anything, and then going, I can make $50 off of that. Great, but sometimes you have to wait for that $50.
Yeah.
My consistent sellers, like I have a consistent seller that sells literally every day that I
Yeah.
have enough.
Yeah.
I make, after doing my calculations, according to shipping, because I do free shipping, so that's a little off. I make about $4.75 off of every one,
Mm-hmm.
approximately.
Yeah.
And I make more when a person buys in bulk, even though I
Okay.
give them a discount when they buy more than 2.
Okay.
I give them a discount, but I make more that way when people do that, because the shipping, it's a 1 pound item.
Okay.
So, and right now, this year I am all about everything under a pound.
I hear you.
I don't even want to play around with if we do FedEx home or UPS shore post. I don't really have the time for that.
Nope.
This year. Because it's for me, it's more of a hassle. Because where I live, I live in a rural area.
Right.
So if I need to drop something off at UPS, I do have options, but the options aren't close.
Okay.
And I don't know when the UPS man is coming here. Like,
right.
He's told me before, if I have a package, I can just give it to him, which
cool.
I do know with UPS. Only UPS. Cannot do this with FedEx.
Right.
If you see a brown truck, you can just, hey, I got a package, and they can take it.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned that years ago. I took some FedEx, UPS. I was the UPS person for my department at the bank years ago. And UPS came in and gave us, a whole explanation of how to use their system and everything like that. And the person told us, they're like, yeah, if you see any of our people out, they can accept the package. And I was like, oh. And it wasn't a big thing back then, but now I'm like,
yeah.
You see the brown dude? Like,
right. Yeah.
like, I know when they
come. Especially if you don't know when he's coming to the neighborhood. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I know when he normally shows up at my neighborhood, but I may not always be available at that time. Now you can schedule pickups, but that's not cheap.
No,
that's not free. Now, post office pickups are free. And I do that. But this week I've been looking more towards I didn't even realize that's what I was doing, but I was looking more towards my goals and what certain things I want to do, not just professionally and personally, but like, where am I headed?
Yeah.
For me. And I'm still staying with my businesses. That's never going to stop. But I realize that I want to be more out there.
Okay.
More, but not like famous.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want TMZ to know who I am.
Right.
But I think of myself more as like more of a media personality. So I am taking more opportunities where I could go on different podcasts, be like a co-host or a commentator. I am working on those opportunities and doing those things a little bit more, and have plans to do that for next year. And I like that. I like to talk.
Yeah.
Right. I like to talk. I like to give my opinion. I've lived a life. I have lots to tell. Yeah. So I'm working on that, doing my year-end stuff, trying to get ready for that, because I know a lot of business people don't like to do their taxes by April. They like to get it done like in October or whatever. I'm not that way.
Yeah.
I like to get my stuff done. Like the first day that we can file electronic, I am on it.
Me too. I like that.
I don't like having that hang around.
Right.
And a lot of things people don't realize, you can file and you don't have to like pay at that exact time.
Right.
I'm not really, I have to look over what all the rules are for next year, because just like last year, things were literally changing on the 31st for what was happening with taxes.
Yes.
So I'm just
being, was crazy.
Oh my gosh. Last year, trying to stay on top of all the new tax rules, and especially with COVID, the packages that were put in place.
Yeah.
Trying to explain to people, hey, yes, I have a business. If you had to stop doing your business, you got a credit.
Right.
But in order to get that credit, your business had to be profitable.
Right.
You couldn't be a minus on your Schedule C.
Right.
It had to be plus.
Yeah.
It had to be a plus of a certain percentage too. So you got trying to stay on top of that stuff. I'm trying to decide if I am going to pursue tax preparation this year. Well, I should say
Okay.
next year. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure because that requires a lot of hand holding
Yeah.
that I just not necessarily sure I have the time for.
Right. And that's okay if you don't. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know, so, and I know that's a quick check too, you know,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of, okay, don't talk to me. Let me get this done.
Right.
And then
Right.
I can't be focused on other things that I like
Yes.
for, you know, for 5, 6 months. I don't want that.
Right.
I don't think that's what I want. So
Yeah.
working on that and just, life, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just, and I like having what's the word I want to say? The freedom
Mm-hmm.
to say, I want to put that on a back burner for right now.
Yeah.
Let me go and enjoy my family.
Yeah.
Because that's really what towards the end of this month is going to be about for me.
Right.
Which is nice
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have to go into a person's office and say, look, I really need this time with my family.
Right.
We've been through a lot through COVID,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because jobs don't care.
No. No, they don't. Nope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't care. So that's kind of where I am and trying to wrap things up. And like, even for us, we have one more show till
Mm-hmm.
the end of the year that we will be doing. And then we'll be coming back, I want to say mid-January. So
Mm-hmm.
what we'll be doing is putting out little clips on social media, and as things happen, you'll see news articles on our social media. You know, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. So,
Yes.
you know, we'll
Mhm.
keep you guys abreast. And, you know, I think probably next week we'll probably just do like a good wrap up
Yeah.
of how things are going, or
Mm-hmm.
what we think is how things are going to go, which is,
Right.
you know, but like going into like some of the topics that we were going to go in today.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows Twitter.
Yes.
Everyone knows Twitter. If you're watching us, you see we have our Twitter handles right
Mm-hmm.
underneath our names.
Yeah.
Well, the co-founder I don't know if he's a co-founder or the founder, Jack Dorsey,
Mm-hmm.
he's stepping down. Now he's not just with Twitter. He's also part of Square,
Okay.
which, as most small business owners are very much aware about, Square is actually, I think they are going to change their name to Block.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that means they're going to get a little bit more involved in the blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't want to start talking like one of the crazy people
Right.
about cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all, if you haven't thought about crypto, or you're not sure about it because you don't know about it, I mean, I could go into a small amount of what that is here, but YouTube has so many videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch YouTube. Basically, you're investing in something that's decentralized.
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't have the same regulations, doesn't have those same, I want to say, well, I was going to say may not have the same risk, but no, it does have a risk, has a big risk. So that's why you want to make sure that you do your due diligence. Like I know I've talked to Nikki about Shiba Inu.
Yeah.
And you know, it's going down right now, which scares a lot of people. But you know what I did as it's going down? I bought me some more.
Right. Exactly. It's the best time to get some. Right.
I bought some more
because it's going to go back up.
It's going to go back up.
Yeah.
And as it gets put on more exchanges, as that happens, it's going to have more trading. Like the big thing right now is waiting for Robinhood to put Shiba on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the big thing.
Yeah.
And as a person who was early on the trend, soon as that trading happens, I'll make a nice little penny.
Right.
You know, actually, I just want it to go to a penny.
That's right.
You could be a multimillionaire with a penny.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I hear you. I hear you.
A penny. That's all I need is a penny.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
but I believe he's stepping down to focus more on that company, and he did talk about more philanthropic things that he wants to be part of,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So to me, if the guy that started Twitter is really is focusing his time on that,
Mm-hmm.
then that's the wave of the future.
Right. Right. Right.
You
And
know,
I think when you look at it from that perspective, um, social media has definitely made its imprint on us over the last, I mean, gosh, what, 20 years, really? I mean, MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So right now, as a entrepreneur, you really need to like look and see what's the next thing, because social media is not, I wouldn't even say it's saturated, but there's only
some
but so
places are.
much that you can do. It's like either you're
Yeah.
putting pictures and videos, you're doing reels, you're doing TikToks, you're doing snaps or whatever. Like you're going to be able to whirl that around a little bit, but what's the next thing? Where is this headed? You got to think about it, just like what Tiffany said. This guy, he's probably a multimillionaire. I don't know if he's a billion. I don't think he's a billionaire, but he's probably spent millions of dollars on marketing and trend information.
Oh yeah.
So when these people make these big moves, they have information behind them guiding them. They're not just making like you know, gut
Right.
decisions. They've got knowledge, they've got statistics, data, information that says this is the right time to make this shift. And so who don't have the marketing and trend budget, forecasting budget, we got to look at
Not
this
like
stuff
that.
and say, okay, what can we do? What can we do? So this, like I said, we're all reflecting on the last year. What's next for 2022, 2023, 2024? A lot of these companies, they plan 5, 10, 20 years in advance, so think about that for your own businesses, and even for your own self, for your own personal finances. Where can you go? What's next? Because you don't want to be stuck. I was thinking it was funny, like I was like, the government's giving all this money away, and it's like, is it because it's worthless? What I mean? It's like everybody's got money in their
Wow.
pockets, but it's like, is it because it's worthless? Is it because it's they're shifting their economy, they're shifting their focus too? So you got to think about that.
Wow.
So
That says a lot, Nikki. You're like, is it worthless?
yeah, so
Oh my goodness.
you don't want to be the last man with a couple $1 million sitting on the hill with your $1 million, but everybody's got 10 million in crypto. So it's like, yeah.
Well, it's funny because crypto at first was like something that people laughed at.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like, why? Like, especially because Bitcoin was something that I've heard about a long. As you know, my husband, he's I'm trying to best word to put that. I'm married to a nerd. Okay. and he was at one point working on mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay. And he went through the process and everything, looked up how much it was going to cost to do it, and he did end up doing some.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I say some, let me pull up how much Bitcoin's worth right now.
Right. Right.
Okay. He didn't do a lot. Now he sold some of that. So before y'all thinking, oh, okay, some of that got sold.
Right. What y'all doing, right? You got some Bitcoin money up in there. Okay.
Yeah. So let me just see at the present moment, what is Bitcoin trading at? Let me just do a quick look at Bitcoin. Right now, according to Coinbase, it's trading at $48,740.
Right.
For one
coin, yeah.
One
Bitcoin, yes. Yep.
One.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, and got me some Ethereum too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
Um,
on Twitter, I was reading some of the people who talk about Bitcoin, and people were selling their houses so that they can buy Bitcoin. So,
now I ain't doing all
so
that.
so I'm like, goodness gracious, like there's people that are like really behind it. I mean, to the point that they figure it's more valuable than having their own home. So
Now, if it
that's
was an
something to think
investment
about too.
property, I
Yeah.
could see it.
Yeah. Well,
But
you know what? As former real estate agents, we know how property appreciates anyway.
right.
So it's like, to me, that seems like like I said, that's a little bit extreme. I agree with you on that because over time, the only thing that ever really appreciates is land,
Yes,
So
paper
over time,
over
yeah,
time.
hands down, it's
Yes.
always gotten more valuable because it's the only thing that they're not making more of.
Say that again.
Right. I guess unless you're in Hawaii in the volcano, whatever. But
Well, yeah.
can you build on that? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so that's something that's what I think they teach you like that the first real estate class. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. Gosh, that brings us way back, doesn't it?
it does,
Going
yes.
back to real estate school.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
I had a good time during the time. It's funny. I paid for real estate school because this is the first time I ever heard the word stimulus.
Okay.
Remember, I think it
Yeah.
was George Bush.
Yeah.
He came in and he was like, "Oh, we have a surplus," and they gave
Yeah.
everybody a
Oh, right.
check.
I remember that. Yes.
I took that money. I did
Mhm.
not buy a new purse,
Yeah.
and that's how I paid to take my real estate classes.
Okay.
Was with that
Okay.
money, and
Yeah.
that was like one of the first times I really took money to invest in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And although I'm no longer in that career, I'm
Mm-hmm.
so thankful I took those classes.
Yeah, me too.
That taught me
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that I said, "Oh, I don't want to be a realtor because I need to be an investor."
Yes, right. Exactly right. But that knowledge, real estate is one of those things. That knowledge is so valuable, and people don't take enough. They don't give it enough credit to really find out about real estate. They leave it up to the agents. I mean, that's why you pay them. But it's really it. I mean, if you ever want to learn something, just to get some information that will help you in your future, learning a little bit of real estate is worth it. A little bit about the real estate process, let's put it that way,
Yeah.
is definitely worth it, even if you
That
don't
was
intend to
very
do it.
helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful. And I've worked in banking. So I knew a
Mhm.
little bit. I knew the banking side of the process.
Right.
But I did not know those other steps and, before you get to the bank to say approve or decline,
Mhm.
But I remember that was like one of the first times I ever took like my own money to invest in something for me.
Mhm.
And that was an actual investment. Because to me, I look at that was an investment.
Yeah.
Because I have that knowledge and I can
Mhm.
use it over and over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And it only had to pay for it one time. And I was probably one of the smartest things I think I've ever done in the beginning of like my whole Entrepremommies career.
Right.
Was to do that. I didn't realize that at the time. I just looked at it as, okay, I could either buy a new purse, get some
Mhm.
shoes, or I could discover what this being a realtor is all about.
Right. Yeah.
And that was very helpful during that time
Yeah.
because it did help because my significant other back then, we were taking houses and trying to flip them,
Mhm.
but there was still a lot of, don't go off what you see on TV, people.
Right. That's very true. Right.
You watch these shows and they make it look real simple. Like you buy a house, put 20 grand into it, boom, bam, it's sold. You've made 70 grand.
Right.
It does not work that way.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
That's how it works on a TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you're having to use other people's money and you're
Mhm.
paying high interest during that time period of getting the house together. And then you always have to plan on something unknown with a
Mhm.
house. You always have to plan. If it's
Right.
not brand new, there's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why a person is moving away from that house.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, my dad used to tell me, he used to say, I don't buy used cars. And I was like, well, why not buy a used car? He was like, because you're buying somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
I've never forgotten that.
Yeah.
So I've always made sure, and I've always made sure that, like, well, you know, I got a car last year. Yeah, this was last year. Yeah, it's been a year since
Mm-hmm.
I've had that car.
Yeah.
It was a brand new car, and I haven't had any problems
Yeah.
with the vehicle. I keep, you know, I have all the extended warranties, and I keep everything up. But probably after 7 years, I ain't gonna keep that car.
Yeah.
It'll become a problem.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so but I really think, you know, going back to Jack Dorsey, to hear his reasoning, I think business owners should be really perking your ears to say, he's stepping away from Twitter and
Mm-hmm.
he is focusing on being philanthropic, of course. He's
Mm-hmm.
working on Square,
Mm-hmm.
and who knows, Square has really come a long way.
It has. It has. Yeah.
Square has really come a long way, because Square has, in my opinion, like kind of turned into like a small business owner framework.
Okay.
So like, because it has, you can process payments, you
Mm-hmm.
can sell your items. What's really neat, I like it sometimes, especially around where I live, some of the local merchants use Square. So when I
Okay.
use my card, I get notification.
Yeah. Yep.
That says, you know, here's your receipt from such and such place. And they're like, you need a receipt? I'm like, nope, I already got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And they also have like bookkeeping somewhat
Mm-hmm.
as well. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think they even have some version that helps with payroll
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Square. Because it's been a while since because I don't use Square, because I don't
Yeah.
have but there was a time when I had we had like a storefront,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a Square. I had Square that I was using, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
I know other people have had problems, but I think when you don't sell a physical product, that may be where
Mm-hmm.
the issue comes in,
Yeah.
is when you're not selling physical products. But I really liked it. Shoot, people would buy from me in the morning. The money was in my account that night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I like things like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I've liked Square. I had to use it for when I was doing cleaning, they would use Square to pay me.
mhm.
So that was I had a Square account too for like payment processing for when I do like craft shows and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I always liked it. It's a nice alternative to PayPal.
Yes.
You know, because sometimes PayPal has its issues and its challenges. But I think Square was able to make a place for itself in the marketplace because it's not, I find it's not as complicated as PayPal is, in the sense of everything is PayPal has a lot of arms. You know what I mean? They do a lot of
Yes.
different things. And even on their business website, it's easy to get lost. Even though I've been using it for years, it's easy to get lost trying to find something, and they change stuff frequently. And it's
Yes,
like,
they
I'm
do.
like, where this is supposed to be over here? How do I cancel my subscriptions? How do I do this?
It's funny you say that about
Yeah.
getting lost, because I actually, over this, and I guess it was last week, I
Mm-hmm.
helped a fellow business person that we both know. They were
Mm-hmm.
having problems
Okay.
with PayPal,
Yeah.
um, and so I said, well, let me take a look at what's happening. Let me ask you a couple questions, because I've dealt with PayPal for years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I said, well, let me let me talk to you, find out what's going on. If I can't help you, I'm going to tell you, you need to call them, you
Right.
know. And it was something literally as simple as, you should probably log on to the desktop, and it
Okay.
will be much easier to deal with this issue. And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was literally, that's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were having problems in the app, and that's how they weren't getting their money. They
Okay.
could see it, but it wasn't it wasn't there
Yeah.
in their balance, and it wasn't showing on hold.
Yeah.
And I think it had a pending. I forget what the status was, but there was literally one step she had to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it was easier to get to that step on the desktop.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my goodness, what?" And she's like, "Well, what if you weren't around to tell me what to do?" I said, "Well, I would have called them and they would have helped you." I said, I've been through enough issues with them. I mean, I've been through them with them through all the different changes.
Yep.
I remember when it was just PayPal, and then they had the Braintree.
Yeah.
So, when you need to add it on your website, that was so confusing to deal with.
Oh, but yeah, that's the thing. They have a lot of different arms, and I found that Square's, I would say their niche is the fact that they focus on that one arm that you kind of really need, which is the payment processing and keeping track of your money and the swiping and stuff, and all that other stuff they kind of leave to PayPal. So I always found them very simple to use, and it's a good alternative. So it's good to have alternatives. It's good to know how to use them. So that's interesting that I didn't know that he was a part of that, but that's interesting that he's going to focus more on those things. And again, another clue as to where the future is going. So
yeah. So I'm very anxious to see what Square is going to start putting out. Well, block,
right?
Because it makes me wonder. Okay, they're going to try and. What if that tells me they're probably going to look into accepting cryptocurrency as payment?
Yeah.
That I feel it. I feel it. Like to me, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
That changes the whole game.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can use crypto. I mean, imagine you go to like your little favorite store. Maybe you don't have enough cash on hand or enough in your checking account, but you got some cryptocurrency.
Right.
That changes everything for you, doesn't it?
It does. It's a nice backup. Yeah.
That really changes. So it makes me kind of excited to see what may happen. Might have to start looking at that old Square account just in case I need it.
Go dust it off, see what's going on in there.
See what's going on over there. Make sure the accounts are set up right and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. So Starbucks. Well, I should say this is actually happening at Starbucks locations in Buffalo, I believe Buffalo, New York area.
Okay.
So it's not something that is being looked at Starbucks wide, but ballots are going to be due soon for a union election at some Starbucks locations in the Buffalo area, which I was kind of surprised about because to me, I don't think of a coffee shop as a place that has a union. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, after seeing some of these TikToks of what some of these people go through with some of these crazy drink orders that people have. I personally don't know the ins and outs of running a coffee shop. Right. That's not something I've ever looked into or even contemplated because for me, it seemed like that was a lot that you would have to look into. Right. A lot of machinery, a lot of different sources. Then what else are you going to offer? Those type of things. So I'll leave that one to you because you have more of an expertise on this subject than I do when it comes to coffee shops or Starbucks. So
yes, I've worked at plenty of coffee shops, including Starbucks. So I think in general, food service workers. Now, in some states, they are allowed to be a part of different unions. Starbucks is a very good employer. I mean, they are definitely not one of the on my list of places I would never work again. I definitely would work there again if it's fun. I like that whole thing. So. Let's see. Am I? Oh, there you go.
I like that. I was trying to put you.
Okay. I thought we lost. You know how they was cutting us off a couple weeks ago. So I was like, oh no. But yeah, I like that whole world of coffee. I've loved it. From my days in school. I mean, my degree, my bachelor's degree, is in hotel and restaurant management. And at some point, having a coffee shop was a dream of mine. Not so much now. I'm not sure, but I do know a lot about it. So I could see where union would be valuable to the workers. Um, Coffee shops, and specifically Starbucks, you get a pretty good hourly wage, and then you also get tips. But it's very easy to get taken advantage of, and I feel like that's where unions protect people the most from getting taken advantage of from the corporate administrative people who make decisions but don't necessarily um, have to feel the benefit or the stress of the decisions that they make. So I could definitely see where it's valuable to have a union, and who knows? Unfortunately, I mean, when you work in a franchise type, well, a lot of Starbucks stores are still owned by the corporate. There are franchises too, but when you work in a setting like that, you're kind of your own little world. So it really depends on who your direct management is. Because as a company, like I said, Starbucks is a very good company, pretty good, very, very employee focused. They do spend a lot of time and a lot of energy really trying to be a good workspace for their workers. So it kind of depends on your direct management, but it's like I said, it's easy to get taken advantage of. It's easy to end up being working 40, 50, 60 hours, and with our labor shortages overall, I could a coffee shop, unfortunately, there's so many other options for people to work. I mean, the food service is getting hit hard, and because people don't, you're on the front lines. If we go back to the pandemic, you're dealing with people every day, exchanging money, exchanging air, exchanging viruses. So it's a challenge. It's a risk that you're taking. And for what, 15, $16 an hour, it may not be a risk that you want to take. Because if you could end up in the hospital on a respirator, is it worth it? A lot of these Starbucks, I do believe, offers health insurance. But even if a company offers health insurance, and you know this too, Tiffany, doesn't necessarily mean that that's something that you can necessarily afford either. Because even though a company will
Yes.
offer health insurance, if it's $300 or $400, like your take home is, $1,000 a week, but you got to pay $400 for health insurance, then that's not really leaving you, that's not really leaving you much room to live.
Right.
So, even if they offer health insurance, it may not necessarily. A lot of restaurant people,
They don't.
the secret,
Hmm.
they say stay home when you're sick, but in the restaurant industry, it's
That's not how that works.
you're
Yeah.
supposed to, because you're dealing with people's food and everything. But I can tell you, as
Hmm.
somebody that's worked in restaurants for many, many years, nobody, very rarely, I mean, you got to be like puking every hour to be home.
Yeah.
Fever, like there's people in there in all kinds of states because they need the money. And it's like,
Right.
and there's no job security really. I mean, in restaurants, it's like you can become a manager, but there's only one, two, depending on how large the establishment is. There's only a couple of managers at the top. So if you're a line worker or a barista, I mean, Starbucks is made up of baristas, right? So if
Hmm.
you're that, I mean, that's your job pretty much. I mean, you can be the shift manager or something like that, but there, this, it's not far. There's not that much forward motion in something like that. That's why you tend to see a lot of college students doing it.
Right.
It's not a career type of job. So I can see where a union would be valuable, but also recognize that our kids, the millennials, they look at work a little bit different. So the people
Yes.
that are they work in places, and this is from the data, right?
Mhm.
So, but they work in places that have social social issues behind. So you're more likely to get a younger person that will stay as a barista if they know that the coffee is sustainably sourced, if they know that Starbucks is doing fair trade with, farmers in other countries and stuff, because they know that they're part of something that is contributing to an overall global good. So they're more likely to stay in jobs like that as a barista because they know that they're part of a company that does its best to provide a positive footprint. So that's one thing where you're seeing, like, I'm meeting a lot of people who they'll stay as a barista for a couple of years because they like what they do, because it is a fun job, especially if you like people, but they'll stay because they like what they do, and they'll stay because the company that they work for is a positive company. Starbucks is that. They don't, they had that thing a couple of years ago where they're kicking people out of their stores because they weren't buying coffee, Black people. They did a lot to really try to turn that around, that bad press around. But other than that, they are a very ethical company. Everybody's got its drawbacks. I mean, there's some things that they probably could do better. So, but I could see the value of a union. But again, the trade off too is, when companies, when unions come in, depending, I mean, I don't want to get too political, but it's, then sometimes the company, I don't want to say punishes its employees, but they have to, now they're under more scrutiny. So they have to, either spend more money or do things differently in order to be in compliance, so that's something to consider too. So but I'm all for unions. I think any type of advocacy for people to help people get what they need is a positive thing. So that's kind of my stance on it. So
Yeah. I think with I think about like how you were talking about the staff shortage. Actually, a couple weeks ago, my husband and I, well, along with my kid, we were out for the weekend doing stuff, and it's always my thing. I love to go and get my what is it, strawberry drink? Is that what it is? Pink drink. That's what it is. Yeah, I like to get a pink drink, and I have turned my son into, he likes the cake pops. At first, he didn't like them because he didn't understand them. And then he started eating them and was like, oh, he likes them. So we went to go to one of the drive-through places, and they had a sign that says, due to staff shortage, we are closed.
Yeah.
And they said to go to the other one. Now, there's probably about 3 or 4 within, I'm going to say, a 5-mile vicinity of each other. So I went to the other one, and of course, that one was packed.
Right. Because they got to deal with the overflow of the other one.
They were dealing with the overflow. And I like the way that they set it up, because there's a Starbucks that's on one side of the street. So if you're coming that direction, you go that direction. But the other Starbucks is on the other side of the street. So you kind of, in a way, have to go down and around just to get to it.
Right.
It was the way they have them set up, I feel, is kind of perfect for traffic patterns. So if you're, whichever direction you're going, you can get a Starbucks.
Yeah.
But because of, pandemic issues dealing with staff shortages, they were closed. And I was like, gosh, it's kind of sad,
Yeah.
Think about it, Starbucks, I don't know how much those people make. I always imagine that they made a little bit more than the minimum wage, probably a lot more than that, because of the sophistication of the ambiance at Starbucks, but considering how much I know my one pink drink costs, my biggest pet peeve, though, is I feel like the prices are never the same. I get the same thing. Why is the price never the same?
Yeah. I don't know, right? It's funny. Oh my gosh. I mean, their POS system is very complicated.
That could be why it's never the same price when I go.
So sometimes Well, I'm just from experience. Okay. So when I was learning, right, making the drinks was easy. It was
Okay.
learning how to calculate the things, because you've seen it. It's the joke where somebody wants, a double half cap,
Yeah.
extra shot of espresso. So they really are serious about you making sure that any type of substitutions gets put in there, and probably they're very, very, very conscious. They want to make sure people's orders are right, but they also want to make sure they get their money. And if you can't be giving away extra shots of mocha, that needs to be accounted for. So I'm imagining now some people, you learn the tricks of the trade. If you're going to do, if somebody says they want a latte, a mocha latte with, something in it.
Hmm.
But it's not, you might key in a latte and then a shot of mocha or whatever. Like you can play around with how you account for it, as long as you account for it. And when you're doing it day in and day out for like 7 to 10 hours, you start to learn certain tricks. So that might be why your price might be different each time, or many times, is that people they're doing it in a different way.
Okay.
So yeah, because sometimes here's the funny thing is, you got your regular customers who know how much their drink costs. So
Uh-huh.
if you mess up, they're like, oh, no, 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 you didn't charge me for this, or you charged me for something else. And it's like, okay, so
Yeah.
so you learn very quickly, get people's drinks right, because they know how much their drink is supposed to cost too. So yeah, yeah. But I think that's the only thing, because the POS system is complicated, because it's thousands of things, thousands of combinations in there, um, that you could, play with, and that you learn. That's like probably the biggest challenge of working there, was
Huh.
learning the POS system. And I'm
Huh.
sorry, that's point of sale system for all
Yeah.
those who never worked in retail or what have
Yeah.
you.
Oh
That's
yeah.
point of
Yeah.
sale system. That's
Point
the
of
that's
sale
the
system.
cash register. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but yeah, the making of the drinks, that was fun. That was easy. I hated being on cash register during the busy time, because I, I'd have a line just because I'm trying to find out where the button is for mocha. So
Oh gosh.
I'm sitting there like, you had what? Okay, okay. Hold on a second. And then you start to
Yeah,
get
that's
it.
when you
But
say,
that's,
Nikki, we gonna
oh
take
my
you off the
gosh.
cash register. Let's put you to the side. You're gonna hand the people their drinks. Okay.
That's right. You're in charge of the food prep. Go ahead, put the sandwich in the oven, okay? That's your job. Woohoo! Yeah. Except if you're the only one. And sometimes that's where I was the only person there. So so I had to
Oh,
learn trial by fire, they
trial it
call
by
it.
fire. That's how
Yeah.
it
That's
works. Yeah.
right. So, but I tell
Wow.
you, I have nothing bad to say about Starbucks. I enjoyed my days there. And I would definitely work there again. So,
Wow, that says a lot.
that yeah, I
Actually.
like, because every once in a while I like to go out and work. I like to work jobs that I don't necessarily have to take home work with. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
I know
I like to
exactly
be
what you
able to
mean.
go do my job, come
Hmm.
home and play with my kids and stuff. I hate jobs where I have to bring home work to work on. I'm like, what's the point? Why did I spend 8 hours with you if I got to bring homework to finish? uh-uh. So
Man,
yeah.
I tell you what, as a manager, I that's how my whole life was. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
be at home making the schedule.
Yeah.
And then like I would be Saturdays going through emails so that when I got there Monday, it wasn't as bad
Right.
with the emails. And after a while, you start the math ain't mathing up.
Right. Yes. Right. And so they get you on that salary stuff, because that's it. You could be working way over your hours
Oh,
because your
oh yeah. And
salary.
oh yeah, in
And I'd be
management
like,
you work
I'd rather
way
be
over.
hourly because I'm clocking in when I'm at home. so,
Exactly. Exactly. And the
so
way
yeah.
that things are now with
Hmm.
with remote working and things like that, They can see your every step, your every move. They can actually tell if you are working or not.
Right.
And it kind of makes you mad because especially, you're in the office and you have those people that aren't picking up the slack.
Yes.
That for me has always been like my issue with unions is now I know they can put things into the agreement of making merit based instead of contract based.
Right.
But if I'm working my butt off and the guy next to me isn't, but we're both making the same, that irritates me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably been my only really true beef with unions.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm all for what they provide because I know of the value because both of my parents worked union jobs. And thanks to those union jobs, they have their pensions.
Right.
So I understand the value and I see it. But that's the thing for me that is a little hard to take.
Right.
I'm working my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but yet we're making the same and we get the same raise and so forth and so forth. That's where it's like, I can see if a person slacks one day because we all have that where we pick up the slack for each other.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the thing that I've never really understood. And I think part of that for me is because I've been a person that moves out of hourly and becomes this manager normally. So, and I always have more goals than to just do what my current job is.
Right. Yeah.
But that could be part of my with unions,
Yeah.
Now, as a business
that's when
owner,
you set that guy up and get him fired. That's
okay, Nikki.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute, I got questions. Never mind. Questions we can't ask on here. I got questions. You said that guy up there fired. Let me stop.
That's right. Not speaking from experience.
Right.
Never set anybody up. But
No, never did. Never did
that. But, yeah.
I'm glad we're laughing because nav.com can help you with your business. Nav.com is a website that helps you with creating your business, helping you with managing your business credit. It will help you with managing your personal credit. Yeah. All of this for free. You can sign up with the link at the bottom of our description box, and you'll be able to have an account that helps you with creating a business and setting up your business credit, which we talk about a lot and we think that you should work on. So nav.com. Check out the link in the description box below.
Okay.
So our last topic, let's see here. I'm just going to put the name. That's all I'm going to do because let me put that up here. On these internet streets. And some people might say, why are y'all talking about her on an entrepreneur website? Let me explain. All right. So for those of you who are like, Brittany Renner, why is that chick part of your show today? Okay. So let me just give it a little bit of background of who she is. Brittany Renner, I should say in the beginning was known as like a fitness coach. She has like a fitness, health, wellness type. I'm not saying brand, but more of like a fitness coach. That's like that's supposed to be her job. However, she's more known for being a professional girlfriend / side chick to professional athletes and celebrities. I want to say celebrities because looking at her, they call it a body count. I didn't know that's what these kids call it now.
Oh, goodness.
I used to say notches on the belt. They call it a body count. Yeah. There's a lot of names on there that are not basketball players or football players, but like R&B singers and things like that. So The reason why, though, that I wanted to talk about her and bring her up is because there was a video that made the rounds, like on the Shade Room, with her having a conversation with a college football team. Deion Sanders is a coach. Is a football coach for HBCU, and the name of the HBCU is leaving me right now. But he brought her in to talk to his team, which I think is really smart, because he brought her in to essentially say, look out for girls like me. uh, but she didn't say that. But she was basically saying, look, okay, you're getting ready to possibly go into the NFL. You need to be on the lookout, because not everyone's going to have your best interest in mind.
Right.
These chicks going to try and track you, okay? But seeing her evolution from being like the side chick, the next or the millennials version to Superhead, because she did drop a book about her sexual exploits. Now, from what I understand, she did. I did not read the book. I have no reason to. But from what I understand, the book isn't just about that. It goes into a background of her life. So you hear about how she grew up, how neither one of her parents were in her life. She is of, I guess, I'm trying to say the best way to say this. She's half black, half white.
Okay.
But she was mainly raised by her white grandparents.
Interesting. Okay.
In a rural small town full of white people.
Okay.
So she has that issue. and she also says that her grandparents were racist.
Oh, so wow.
That's something that in itself. So to hear her background a little bit, it's like, okay, I start to see a little bit of what's happening. And then she, went off to college, did not stay in college, which I'm never going to denounce a person that does that, because I am a college dropout too. So, but it just wasn't for her. And she started more on fitness, and she became known on Instagram. She was able to pitch products on Instagram. She was known as like an Instagram influencer for fitness. Well, that got her around the likes of professional athletes and celebrities. So unfortunately, she's kind of more known for that than any type of business acumen that she has. However, I do feel that she is very well spoken. I believe she's very well spoken. She's not a dumb girl.
Right.
Not at all. Now, not saying that she portrays it, but I think that's the thought process, that people think, oh, she's just someone just sleeping around with celebrities. She's trying to be famous. I don't even think that's the case.
No.
I think she's just on her grind. She's trying to survive.
Right.
But the thing that I think that kind of shot her up to fame a little bit was she made a comment a few years ago, either whether it be on like a podcast or an Instagram post, something about NBA players being the dumbest athletes when it comes to females.
Oh my goodness.
Saying that they're going to be saying something alluding to the fact that they're going to be the easiest to trap.
Oh, wow.
So, but then years later, she ends up getting pregnant by a basketball player.
Right.
So everyone's like, wow, okay. So she must have been telling the truth, because this guy obviously slept with her without protection.
Right.
They have a child. And years ago, she's talking about how basketball players are easy to trap, which I'm like, Wow, mind blown.
And
So,
you trapped one, right?
and you trap one.
Yeah.
So, but I think, I don't know if she's going through like a rebranding, but I do
Mhm.
like the way that she spoke to the college football team to kind of say, look, um, life is going to change for you when you get in the NFL.
Yeah.
Lots of things are coming at you. You know, your Instagram, like she even talked about, she was like, I have a lot of celebrities and professional athletes in my DMs right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could respond if I wanted to. You're going to have the same thing, but it might just be random people. You have to be mindful of all of these type of things, knowing that you're going to be in the NFL. Now, I know for a fact that like NBA, and I'm sure the NFL does too, like they have like a whole rookie seminar where they
Mm-hmm.
discuss things of that nature, where they, say, hey, look, we all know y'all gonna party.
Right.
But here's a bag of condoms. Like, be mindful of your money. Everyone don't need your money. Get a financial planner, things like that. Obviously, a lot of these players ain't listen. But I think someone like her speaking to prospective NFL, and not just NFL, they could just be anywhere,
Right.
to say you need to be mindful of these type of things. Coming from her, I think they may get it more or
Yeah.
understand it better because I think it's kind of coming from a genuine place.
Yeah.
And I think she has a shift that she could use and
Yeah.
kind of use that as like a little pivot, because, she's getting older now, but I don't look at her in probably the same disdain as other people do.
Right.
Just because I've been young once, I've made mistakes. And if a person was to define me by the things I did in my 20s, whew, and a person can evolve and a person can change.
Right.
But who's to say you have all these different celebrities that want you, that you wouldn't go off with them too?
Yeah. Well, I kind of look at these women, these as I look at them a little differently, just in the sense of if you're an Instagram influencer, if you're putting yourself out there, you are the product. So, she keeps herself looking fabulous and fit because she is the product. And let's keep it real, the guys, I was just reading some of the articles about her and her baby daddy, and that he's gonna have to pay somewhere in the ballpark of like 2.4 million in child support over time. You know what I mean? So she's made it, so to speak, with her child, and that was kind of her choice move, and now she can do other things. You know what I mean? You could do it with a poor man and not make any money. You could do it with a rich man and make $2.4 million. I mean, I'm mad at you. So, I'm like, and her comment I saw was that athletes are the easiest to trap because they don't wear condoms. They don't like to wear condoms.
That's it. Thank you.
So, she just putting everybody else out there. If you're going to sleep with people and somebody is headed to the NBA or the NFL, you might as well. I mean, if you're going to have a baby, you might as well have a $2.4 million baby than a $10 baby. So, I'm not saying that. I'm a woman with 5 kids. So I'm not saying that
by the same man.
By the same man.
You gotta say that. You gotta say that. Because
I love my children, But if I had it to do over again, if I watch the
It
TV
makes me
over
think of,
again, I might
it
have
has
taken
me
into
thinking of that
consideration
line.
how much these children cost and how
Oh,
much
honey.
their father could bring to the table of that cost. I might have done my so I'm mad at her because that I'm mad at her. I'm mad at her. So
It makes me think of
she's a
that
product.
line. Yeah,
Right.
in a 50 Cent song, it goes, "Have a baby by me, be a millionaire."
That's right. Right. I might consider, I will definitely be teaching my twins, my girls, a little bit something different about, love and Prince Charming and all that stuff
Right,
because raising kids is expensive. And if
right,
you gonna have kids, it's best to set yourself up and set them up in the best way possible. And this is, I mean, unfortunately, her and the baby daddy aren't together. So that's an issue. But it's you have to, in some ways, if you don't have an in, or you don't have a talent or a skill or something. But I think, I mean, her attention to her face and her body is a talent and skill. So I won't say it like that. But we all have to use different things. And I am not an exerciser. I don't like exercise. I like to eat too. So my body is not a product in that sense of the words. So
I'm with you too. I like to eat. Now I have changed a little bit with my
right.
body. I only did a 15-minute workout this morning.
You see what I'm
Uh,
saying? Like, good, God bless you. Because I'm like, I don't like it. But there's some women out there who are making money off of their workout skills, and I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad at her. So she ain't hurt nobody. And also it's a trade off too. If you're with a NFL, NBA, if you're with an athlete, celebrity, the trade-off too is, you know, their lifestyle is to have a lot of women, to sleep with a lot of
mhm.
women. So it's not like and I don't know the guy that, I mean, her baby daddy, the basketball player. I don't want to say that he's a tramp too, but I'm just saying that that culture is one where he could be with her, but he could also be with 10, 15 other girls. So
Right.
it's her trade-off. She gets a $2.4 million baby out of it, but she also has to put up with possibly him sleeping with 2 to 4 different women at a given time. And I mean, like I said, I don't know him personally. I don't know if that's his MO, but it's a lot of their MOs. So,
Well,
you know,
some of the people that she is, I would say, accused of
hmm
being with,
yeah,
Chris Brown,
yeah,
singer,
okay,
and Kaepernick.
okay,
Now we all know that Colin Kaepernick, he has a girlfriend, or I don't know
hmm
if she's a fiance, but now this is, I believe, before her and before the kneeling.
right,
But she won't talk about him now in a
okay,
negative way.
yeah,
She does. She she was asked about him, I think it was on Glad TV.
hmm
She did an interview on there, and in a way, I thought she was trying to divert from the question, but the way that she answered the question was, "I am happy that he has found himself and that he is happy,"
okay,
which makes me think, okay, she knew after watching the Colin Kaepernick had a limited miniseries
well,
on
Netflix,
Netflix.
yeah, I saw
That
some
was
of it, yeah,
I really liked it because it wasn't just about him.
yep,
It was like a teaching moment, but you
hmm
could tell he had an identity crisis as a
hmm
teenager
yeah,
up
and
until a young adult.
it's interesting because you described her background. They kind of have similar backgrounds. You could
Exactly.
see where they might have found
Kinship.
camaraderie within each other.
Right.
Yeah.
With each
Yep.
other. Right. So she, like I said, she didn't speak anything bad or ill will towards him, but like
Mm-hmm.
apparently she's been rumored to be with like even Tracey songs, the R&B singer, trying to think some of the other people. I want to make sure, and these are all alleged.
Mm-hmm.
She also, her background too with her fitness, she also played soccer
Oh, okay.
too.
Okay.
She was a soccer player, but and in her interview, the reason why she didn't like kind of in a way go pro, well, she didn't like what it was like to go pro. She
Mm-hmm.
liked the way it worked when you were on a team at school. It was a camaraderie. But
Mm-hmm.
she didn't like as work trying to go of being pro was she didn't feel it was like a camaraderie between the teammates.
Right.
It was just a check for them. And
Okay.
she actually loved the sport.
Okay.
So that was kind of nice to hear a little bit about her background. Oh wow, she's been with Drake.
Wow.
So that's the rumor. That's the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
And even one of the rumors is Tyga, which we all know from Black China fame.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think he's been with everybody. But there's also a full list of people that she's never going to name because she explained that she signed NDAs with people.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
But she supposedly she's going to work on another book. She wrote one book and she's getting ready to drop another book. So I think she's found a niche. Now, one thing about what she does in her book, like I said, I did not read it, but the way that she explained it, she does not list names, not their real names.
Okay.
She does not list their real names. But you can, in a way, maybe try to infer, of who they are. But she said one of the people she wrote about, the guy called and was like, I know which chapter is mine. Good job.
Right.
Because they their response to her was something more to the effect of, you did a good job so well, my lawyer said I can't see you.
Because I was going to.
Right. My lawyer said I can't sue you because she did not put enough. She didn't put enough in there to be identifiable.
Okay. But he knew.
She changed names, but so which is like, wow. Like, so obviously she's not a dummy.
No.
Obviously she's not a dummy. I think she's quite smart,
Right.
But the reason why I just wanted to, because when you see her, she's trending, of course, because of interviews and things like that. But there is a business behind that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, you just wake up one day, you have a book deal. Actually, I don't know if she did this independently or she got a book deal, but I mean, now you can be independent. You don't need a book deal these days, but it helps.
Very true. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It helps. But there's a business behind this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just, she's known for this. She's was able to get into those circles for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
She was she kind of was an athlete herself.
Mm-hmm.
She is into health and fitness. So it makes sense for her to be around the likes of professional athletes because they would be into the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They would want to be into their body, their soul, mental, and all of that so that they can be focused on their game and do their job to win their games, because that's what they get paid to do. So it makes sense for her to be in those circles. So, but I think she's really, in my opinion, I think in her later years now, and I shouldn't say later, but like her years of, I think she's in her mid 30s or close to 30. Being, sometimes being a mom changes you.
Yeah.
Where now she's not as reckless with the mouth, whereas she's being more, I think really she could really turn this into something completely different. Like that's why when I saw what Deion Sanders did by bringing her in, I was like, that's her niche. that's her niche right there. Like
Yeah.
I saw that and was like, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
what you do. That's your niche right there.
Yeah.
Like that I don't know who's on her team advising
Right.
her, but I think that's her niche.
Yeah.
That's her niche right there. Because
Yeah.
those kids knew exactly who she was when she walked in the room.
Right. Yep.
They knew, and all eyes was on her,
Yes.
you know, and they listened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's what's funny. She didn't change who she was. She didn't come in with looking like she was off the farm.
Mm-hmm.
She came in dressed like she's normally dressed on Instagram.
Yeah. Yep.
So, she knew how to get the attention. She had
Mm-hmm.
the right parts covered, but had other things enhanced. So I do think this is something that, it is a business.
Yeah.
She just has to, in my opinion, parlay it the right way,
Yeah.
because she has the interest right now. She could
Mm-hmm.
probably step into any arena and do what she wants because she has the interest.
Yes.
That's what I think with her.
Yeah.
I as say what you want about her conquest
Mm-hmm.
and her talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when she was younger. I don't think, and it's not just when she was younger. People keep asking her. I'm sure she doesn't want to keep talking about someone that she was dealing with 10 years ago.
Right.
If interviewers stop asking her, then I guess we'll stop hearing about that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to add too that, we're changing. As women, we get a bad rap for being sexually aggressive or out there like that. And I think that
mhm.
we're changing and redefining what relationships are and what um you know what constitutes like slut shaming and all different
Mhm.
types of things. And the truth of the matter is that you know we know her business. This is not something that's new. This has been as if there was ever celebrities, there's always the women that they sleep with, and you know what I mean. And
Mhm.
it's but the thing is that knowing she could have easily gotten gobbled up and eaten up and spit out like a lot of girls. There's a lot of
Mm.
girls crying in corners because it didn't play out the way that they wanted to. There's a lot of babies mamas out there who didn't fare well with their kids. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of ways that is changing and redefining. I like that she takes ownership of who she is and what she does and who she's been with, and she's profiting off of it as opposed to letting it kind of victimize her, because that, like you had mentioned about Superhead, if you remember, just the fact the culture is different now too. Think about how they
Way
talked
different.
about Superhead versus how they might be talking about Brittany Renner. Pretty much kind of the same type of thing, but she had to go through a lot. Um, you know what I mean? Like I just
Mhm.
men can sleep with whoever they want, you know what I mean? And
They sure
nobody
can.
nobody looks sideways or anything like that. But women, they have a different
More than
level.
two. Oh, she's a whore.
Or she's exactly. And so I like the fact that that's changing, and I like the fact that people are able to come out and say, yeah, I've done, this is my body count, that's right, and whatever. And like you said, there is a business behind it. And did it start off that way? We may never know, and maybe she's pivoted into this to make the best of a situation. Maybe she recognized the fact that she was something that these guys are attracted to, and maybe she recognized a place for herself
Mhm.
there. And like you said, she's getting older, she's a mother now, so now she's thinking, okay, how can I turn my experiences into something that's not going to put me on a list of women to avoid, but a list of women to bring into my team and talk about her experiences. So
Exactly.
I like that. You know what I mean? All aside from the values and all the
Mhm.
value judgments of what people do and how they live their lives. we all got secrets.
Honey. But if it can work for Kim Kardashian,
amen,
it can work for her.
That's right.
She just needs her own Kris Jenner.
That's right. It's true. And she might have one,
She might have one,
Yeah. So I like it. I like when people can make money off of their experiences and and off of their stories. And I like it when people can frame their stories the way they want, and as opposed to their stories being framed for them. So I wish her the best. I hope she's able to. I hope we can see more of her business acumen and her intelligence and stuff.
Yes, because she obviously
her gorgeous body.
She obviously has some. She's not a dummy. She is not a dummy at all. If she got with the right guy, they could be a power couple.
Yes. Yeah.
They could get past a few things. They really could be a power couple. I don't see her as like that. What do you call it? Like that dumb blonde type of thought process. Right. I don't see her like that. I think she has her head on straight. She's made, I'm sure, in her mind a few mistakes, but I like where I see the potential for where she could go.
Yes, definitely.
That's what I like. So that's our take on Brittany Renner. Never thought we talked about something like that on this show, but we did. Right. So as we said before, we have one more show for the year. And then after that, we'll be coming back mid-January. We have some more things in store. We're working on some more interviews to expose our listeners to different businesses, different thought processes. We want to help everyone all around with your business. If you ever want to contact us, you can always email us directly at entrepreneurs@gmail.com. We have our individual contacts. They're in the description box, as well as we're both on Twitter. I'm Resellqueen on Twitter. Nicole is Home with Nicole. So I am Tiffy T, the Resell Queen.
And I'm Nicole Flamer.
And we are the Entrepremommies, the mommies that handle business.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
At Entreprenommies, we share from experience.